So I've been away from YouTube for a little while, and before I left, a few people would comment on my videos saying they'd like to see a fragrance collection tour. And I've never been one of those guys that has their fragrances like behind them or whatever in their videos. Honestly, I'm far more concerned how much of a hoarder I actually am. I'm genuinely not sure what these bottles down here are. I think maybe they're ones for sale. But you know, this evening I thought I'd make a video, and I figured why not. So I guess this is my collection, A to Z. Alright, so the plan was to go A to Z, but then I realised that my collection is just not that well organised. So we're just gonna roll with this. So first of all, we got my Amouage here. I used to have Black Iris. This is something you're going to hear me a lot saying, is I used to have, because I've been selling off quite a lot this year. But yeah, I used to have both interludes. I used to have Interlude and Interlude Black Iris. I just have Interlude Black Iris now because it's my favourite of the two. I just like the colder, kind of slightly colder, slightly closer version of Black Iris. And Amouage Epic. Epic's nice, it's alright, I like it. Then got my Serge Luton. Again, I sold a lot of these recently. I think I've got, what have I got? Amboise Vanille, Vetiver Oriental, L'Orpheline and Baptême de Feu left. And I did sell like some of the more rarer Serge Luton. I sold Saracens and Iris Silver Mist and Musk Kubla Khan recently, as well as a Shaggy, because Shaggy just never really did anything for me. And I did love Iris Silver Mist and Saracens, but Saracens I never wore that much. Jasmine's not like my favourite note ever. And Iris Silver Mist, as much as I loved it, I wore it once. My mum just said that it reminded her of the dentist, and ever since I couldn't ever get that out of my head. So it sort of ended up being the dentist's for me, and I just stopped wearing it. And then I've got quite a few L'Artisan Parfumeur perfumes. These are all great, and I think they're a brand that people overlook all the time, really. So you got Noir Exquis, first of all, which is basically a better version of By the Fireplace by Maison Margiela. And this is like a kind of niche version, I guess, of By the Fireplace. I think it's better all round, but it is very, very similar. Then I've got Batacada, Alud, Zoncar. Over the back, we've got Bois Farine. This one's really nice, Jeu de Fête. It's a really nice, it smells like this sugar coating on like chocolate eggs or something. It's really nice. Merchant Loup, which is a nice aniseedy licorice kind of affair. And Timbuktu, which is like the classic, right? And I like Timbuktu a lot, but I don't think it's, actually I prefer a lot more of these compared to Timbuktu, but yeah, you know, it's the kind of the classic, right? We got My Only Montal here, which is Oud Queer d'Arabie, and this is an absolute beast. This, if you're into barnyards, is one of the most barnyardy fragrances I've probably ever smelt, ever. It basically just smells like full-on cow crap for like the first sort of 10-15 minutes, and it turns into a nice leather. Next to that, Bogue Mai, which is a really nice Chypre, and Salt and Vetiver by Nishané, which we just recently spoke about, nice fresh vetiver. Behind that, got my zoologists, got Moth, Hummingbird, and Civet. They're all good, I really like all of them. Moth is one of my favourite fragrances of all time. I don't wear it very often, as you can see. In fact, I wear it very, very rarely, but it's just such a brilliant fragrance. But it is quite unique, and I find myself not really wearing it that much. Behind that, Hard Leather. Lauren Mazzoni, yeah, Hard Leather. So another really stinky barnyard leather, really good, really, really filthy. Shamzood by Memo behind that, and Bodacious Victorious The King, which is a really nice spicy sort of saffron and woods, like dark woods and spices. It's nice. Musk Immortelle is just fantastic. Lame du Desert is equally beautiful, and Lune Feline is just incredible. Lame du Desert, very woody. Lune Feline is probably one of the best vanilla scents that I can think of, and Musk Immortelle is just a gorgeous stinky pissy musk, really good, and not like with iris mixed in there and everything. It's really good. My Penhaligon's Portraits, these were all on like a really bargain sale recently, so I sort of picked them all up. I'd been after Monsieur Beauregard, this one, for a long time actually, and never bothered picking it up. So I managed to get that in the sale, which was good. And these others, I hadn't really tried them, but they were so cheap, I just got them. And actually, Cousin Matthew, I really like, and I find it very similar to another Christian Dior fragrance that we'll come to later, but. Yeah, I actually really like this Cousin Matthew for a freshie. I mean, I don't wear freshies very often, but I really like this. I got it just at the right time, really. Wore it in some of the hotter weather in the summer, and it was really nice. And then, was that Countess Dorothea, which is a spicy ginger number, and it's nice. It just doesn't have great longevity. And Terrible Teddy, which actually, despite the fact the bottle is awesome, I really dislike Terrible Teddy. It's really not all that. It smells very designery to me, and when I say designery, I don't mean like designery in a derogatory way, but I mean the worst parts of designer, that kind of overdone Ambrox, and yeah, it's not great, but it's not bad either, but it's just not my favourite. Next, Francesca Bianchi's. Now these are like some of my favourites. I've got Under My Skin, Lover's Tale, and Sex and the Sea. They all absolutely stink, and they're all brilliant. Some of my favourite fragrances right there. This is actually Hemingway by Mas Milano, is my absolute favourite vetiver fragrance of all time. It's gorgeous, like smoky vetiver with like a kind of real fruity spiced edge. It's just brilliant, and my favourite vetiver fragrance of all time. Behind that, got Cedric Bois by Mancera, which is like an absolute classic, really. I really do like it. I don't wear it that often, but I do like it. And behind that, Violet Moss by Sven Pritzkollet Parfum, SB Parfum. I said his name all wrong there. That's beautiful violet, that's very dirty, smells like dirty earth and violets, and it's really nice for a violet fragrance. It's very like Parma Violet sweet kind of edge, but then this like real dirty sort of filthy, slightly sort of barnyard, but mostly like earthy soil kind of vibes to it. It's great. Moving down, I've got my Louis Vuittons, got Nuit de Feu, Matière Noire, and Nouveau Monde. Nouveau Monde I actually really like. This is actually probably my favourite Louis Vuitton fragrance. I think it's really excellent. It's quite unique, and it's really excellent. A little bit overlooked for some of the other Louis Vuittons, that like the darker bottle Louis Vuittons that everyone really likes. I forget what it's actually called, but everybody loves it, and it's just a jammy rose and oud. But this I think is really interesting, from the Louis Vuitton collection. Bortnikov, Chypre du Nord, I believe it's a really nice Chypre. I'm not massively into Chypres. I have just like the two really in my collection. So it's this one and the Mai by Vogue. But this is a really nice fragrance actually. I really like it. It does get very pissy, and in the middle it does get almost like public toilet sort of levels of piss with the musk, but it's really nice, and it is rescued, and it doesn't always smell like a public toilet. Behind that, I got two Cinquecantos, Mirabile and Mandragola. Mandragola is a really interesting rose and oud, like I've never seen before. It really unique and interesting scent there. I've got a review for that on my channel. Next up, I've got all my Beauforts. So these are the Hell or High Water collection. I don't have anything that's not from the Hell or High Water collection, so I've just got like Tonnerre, Coeur de Noir, Violet Army, Fathom 5, and the and Lignum Vitae. That's the last one, isn't it? I absolutely love Beaufort as a house. They're probably one of my favourite houses of all time, and that's just a stunning collection. Gallivants, a little house that kind of got a little bit of flack recently, but I really like them. Tokyo I'm not a huge fan of, but London I'm a really big fan of. I think this is an excellent like rose. Love it to bits. Penhaligon's behind that. I've got Luna, Blasted Heath, Halfeti, which is the obvious kind of classic, right? And Iris Prima, which is a very dainty iris, and it's quite nice. Dior's behind that. I've got Ballade Sauvage, Rose Kabuki, which I actually really like. Rose Kabuki, it's a really nice like dewy rose. Quite simple, just sort of like a lot of white musks and dewy rose, but it's really nice. And then Au Noir, which is obviously classic and probably one of my favourite fragrances of all time, full stop. Next up, we got the Kilians. We got Black Phantom and Liaison Dangerous, both really different, both really great, but obviously everything's been said about them. Followed by Kerosene, Lord No Nero by Tiziano Trenzi, another one of my favourites of all time. A Liquid Night by A Lab on Fire, which is a nice incense fragrance. Again, a little bit designery, but really nice. 4160 Tuesdays, Black Velvet Cafe. Oyedo by Diptyque, which is really crazy fruit fragrance, really nice. Sospiro Wardasinia, and Oud Infini by Decita, which is just amazing. Burning Ben by Strangers and Tom Ford Oud Mineral. I really like both of those. Oud Mineral I got a lot of wear out of actually this summer, and then once Join the Club Zerdroff fragrances. Now I really like the Join the Club line. It gets a little bit of a bad rap. The obvious one, Ivory Root, this one, everybody loves this one, but the rest of the line gets a bit of a bad rap. I really don't know why. I really like them, and for the price that they go for sometimes, especially these old bottles, you can't pick up a lot better for the price, in all honesty. Don, for example, is a really nice tobacco fragrance. I really like this. It is a bit synthetic smelling, but it's really good, like smoky tobacco, and I really like it. Behind those, I've got my other Zerdroffs. I believe it's Le Capital first, which is really nice. It's a sort of really interesting strawberry fragrance, actually. And then Cruz del Sur 2, which, I mean, I've done a review of that on my channel, and I've sung its praises many times. And Zafiro, which is a really nice churchy incense. A lot of a Lemmy in it, which is really nice. So yeah, I really like a resinous incense fragrance. Okay, so moving down some shelves now, we're getting to the under depths where things get a whole lot cheaper, really. Got my Galans, so we got L'Homme Cologne, L'Instant de Galan, Shalimar, obviously, and behind that, got some Bulgaris. So we got Haute Rouge and Bulgari Pour Homme Soir, which is actually one of my favourite designer fragrances. Really nice, papyrus, fresh, but really good. Really excellent, like tea and papyrus fragrance. Classic kind of Bulgari tea fragrance, which is really good and really underrated. I think it might be discontinued now, but you still get hold of it, I should imagine. This is a really good iris fragrance, actually. really rooty, raw iris, full-on iris, smack it in your face. Yeah, excellent iris fragrance. Behind that, I think it's English Oak and Red Currant. Terre d'Hermès 2006. So I bought this on its release. So it's like fully vintage. Yeah, pretty excellent fragrance. Behind that, we get into some of the kind of Dubai, Arab Emirates sort of stuff. I don't even know what a lot of those are, so we'll just leave them. But I think that's a Baccarat Rouge clone. These two are just really nice woods. This Ragba Wood Intense is a really nice vanilla dark woods. And then we got some more Hermès, which is the Jardin collection, which are all really good. Comme des Garçons by Monocle, Sugi. Some imaginary authors here. Yesterday's Haze, really good. Really like that actually. Really nice fig fragrance. Comme des Garçons Girl, which is like really cheap and discontinued. A really vintage Issey Miyake Pohom from the 90s. So vintage Creeds over the back there. Vintage Silver Mountain Water and Green Irish Tweed. MCM Oris, which is really nice. Eau de Gardegar, which is a really good tea fragrance actually. And this is some really cheap clone of Black Afghano, but it's actually a really good clone of Black Afghano. Cost me like almost nothing on eBay, but really good. Some Ganache Parfum stuff. So this is a really pungent plum, like boozy plum. And then we got One Legged Joe, and behind that Luscious Joe, which are two really great coffee fragrances from Ganache Parfum, Little Indie House. And then we get in some really weird stuff down here. So we got like Paul Smith Man and Paul Smith Extreme and Hugo Boss XY from the Depths, which is actually a really nice fragrance that I really like. I don't know, there's a lot of nostalgia to that. I had that when I was a wee nipper, and so there's a lot of nostalgia to that one. But a really nice fragrance. And of course, got Encre Noire that everyone has, and of course the Bulgari Aqua Amara, which is going for silly prices now for a fragrance that is mediocre at best, but it's not bad, I suppose. This one, Midnight Oud, is a really good interlude clone. Got it from eBay. It's Ardell Zafran Midnight Oud, but it is actually a really good interlude clone. And then these two MAC perfumes are interesting. In the Ruby Woo and Velvet Teddy, and they're basically made by the same company that owns the Tom Fords. And Velvet Teddy is a Tobacco Vanille clone, and Ruby Woo is a Tuscan Leather clone, and they're both basically spot on. Like, they're both identical clones basically, and I'm inclined to believe that they're very close, that they've shared a lot of the same ingredients there and a lot of the same formula, if not almost exactly. Next we got Lolita Lempicka Au Masculin, which is a really interesting fragrance in that it was mega hyped in the community for a while, and it's kind of achieved a little bit of a cult classic. It's a nice licorice fragrance. Bleu de Chanel, like tucked over the back there. We pretend that doesn't exist. What is all this? So JSXD Men, which I hate. Let It Rock by Vivienne Westwood. A few Lush sprays, which are quite nice, but I don't really know what they are. And then we get sort of down here where we're really getting to the dregs now, with a couple of Perfume Parlor clones, a few Alexandria clones. These are all Rogers. I'm not really a massive fan of Roger, but I like them enough to sort of warrant getting these little kind of sprays of little travel sprays from Alexandria. I think it's Amber Oud, Sweet Oud, and I can't remember what this one is, but it's another Roger. And yeah, I like them enough. Then in here, boxes, we have like decants and stuff. I think this is actually a cheeky little decant of Silver Iris Mist that I took before I sold it. I just wanted to keep like a little bit for myself, just in case I ever want to wear it. But it smells like dentists, like I say, so not going to happen. And then just to finish things off, there's a bag of samples, a massive bag of samples of all sorts of stuff. I have no idea what is even in that a lot of the time. It's a terrifying nightmare. So yeah, that's my collection. I've managed to sell off probably about half of it in the last sort of 6 months, and I'm kind of trying to, if I can, sell off a good deal more of it before the end of the year. I'd like to get it down to about sort of 10-20 bottles, but we'll see. Anyway, thanks for watching. Cheers.